a good extension from the wall is to have a weakness big enough so that we don't play too close to the strong group, but a weakness small enough so that we can fight well with opponent when he makes there an invasion. So let's start with the next video and maybe a situation just like this, simple situation on the bottom. So now it's white's turn and white is thinking about where to play. So he is thinking between A or B. Both moves are some invasion, and after both moves it's actually possible to make a two-space extension in any side. Like after white plays here, doesn't matter if black plays from this side, white is able to make a two-space extension. In case black plays from the other side, white is able to make this two-space extension. But same if white choose this B move. After this move also, if in case black plays here, white is able to make a two-space extension. After this move, white is able to make two-space extension. So generally, it should not matter very much which move white will choose, but white should choose. Maybe something is better. So how to think about the situation? Maybe we can start with A, and now when we know this shape already, like here there is this schema, so after this move we can think that actually maybe now black can play this kick. So yeah, now in case white extends, now black should be quite happy, right? Because white has two stones and only two-space extension from these stones. Basically, yes, white's shape is not very perfect, but all the time here in the corner there are these agi. Yes, it might be possible to play this attachment later here and here. Yeah, this is one thing. Another thing, all the time it's possible for white to escape like this, so that for better it would be maybe a little bit more interesting when there is a fight to have a stone in this spot, so that white cannot escape that easily. Okay, but later when we are looking on the right side here on this group, what's going on there? Black had a wall and now black takes some territory with this wall. But normally when somebody has a wall, it would be good to fight, right? Like when there is a wall, normally best is to play not close to this group, so better if opponent will play close to this strong group. In this situation, black chooses to play from this side, this L3, and maybe if we could choose the initial move for black, maybe in this position, in case white would play somewhere else, maybe for black instead of this move, it would be a bit more interesting to play, for example, like this, or maybe even like this, or maybe even higher, something there. Maybe it would be a bit more interesting for black, because black has a wall, so it's a little bit further from the wall, not close to the strong group. But now when we are looking one more time on the situation, and when you think that white will play this A, and later we get this exchange and so on, and white might be considered as like a little bit over-concentrated, when we are looking on this shape which was there, black had this wall, and normally what it is to have a wall, to have a strong group? Normally it means that there is not direct profit, but it's some kind of an investment, right? Wall is investment. Territory is cash for us, and wall is an investment. So this investment might be used actually in quite many ways, even though directly there is no territory, in this case for black. This investment might be used, for example, that now for white it was not possible to fight well with this black's group, so that white could not maybe play in this spot or even closer, because like this black would just play from the other side. And now when white plays something like this, white tries to fight with this black's wall, so it might be not so comfortable for white. So white had to choose this like a little bit further move, so that now black gets maybe this a little bit more territory, and this the white has not so nice, maybe not optimal extension from these two stones. It's only two space extension and not three space extension. Yeah, so black got this some kind of profit. Black also got some territory. Yeah, but now black got also a territory from this wall. So overall, if we are looking on the situation, yes, black got some profit. Black got this profit so that he has some territory. Black also got this profit that white didn't play this optimal extension. But on the other side, black had to get there some profit. In this situation, when black has a wall, normally it's necessary. This is why people get walls, so that it's possible to get there some profit. And here, for white, it might be not that easy actually to play this like B move, because in case black will play now from this side, now white will play this 2-space extension, now white plays close to the strong group. And this black's group is not only these 3 stones. Black always basically has a possibility to continue to get this wall even a little bit bigger. So for example, this is going to be center, but later black might even continue. In case white would play some hane, black can also try with some cuttings there. So it's not that easy for white to really play this kind of moves. So maybe white will extend, but then maybe black can even continue one more time, because in case white plays this hane and black will play, for example, like this, or now maybe also possible from the other side, and black, in case black will play here, black can, in case white will play here, black can get this R3. So it's like big move for having a base for black there. But in case white will connect here, then black can cut like this. So now there start to be some agi, some weakness for black in this area. So black can, for example, just capture the stone. It's already quite big profit for black like this. Or in case white just takes the stone, then black just cut this one stone for white. So for example, black can just extend and black might fight. So this is like an option for black there. If black will play from this other side, it doesn't change that much the situation, just white can be a little bit stronger here in this lower right corner. So while having this shape, it's basically good to know that there are these possibilities for black to play this kind of continuations. Like black, of course, has much more continuations possible to, it's possible to play like just here directly, or maybe some like keima, or maybe some other move, maybe cutting directly. There are more options, just this one was good to have in mind during some fights. So now we are going to have some fight, and this is one of these options. So suddenly we can imagine in our heads that black might have a possibility to strengthen these stones. And there is next thing which would be good to notice for like black, that when white decides to play here to only get this base, black might try to lower white a little bit. So for example, black can choose this move. After this move, where is white going to play? Probably white will answer, right? Not to get cut, because black has strong groups, so now fighting with 2 groups would be difficult, so white will connect. And now black can also cover white from the 4th line. So now where to play for white? Just getting a base in case white will play like this and later like this. Black suddenly gets a wall like this from the other side. Okay, this wall maybe will not kill this white group, but all the time, because of staying there, these stones, black is able to get, for example, this wall in a little bit different side. So after these like exchanges, and like white all the time basically needs to worry about own group, not to die there. So white will probably continue playing something in this area. Now, when we realize that black got this wall, black starts to be stronger in all this lower left corner. So that for white, when white has problems with this group, it might be maybe not so clear, because maybe this J2 will be center for black, right? So in case later at some point this will be center for black that white will need to answer, black really protects this lower left corner very well, so that it might be very difficult for white to play anything there to destroy it or reduce even. So like this, because of getting this extra wall here, black gets this profit, so that here there will be much less weaknesses for black in this lower left corner. Plus, additionally, black can use this wall in like central part of the board. So this is like another option for black in the future. So this would be playing really close to the wall. So for white, it would be more interesting to play a little bit further. And in case white plays further, and now black plays this move, white has a little bit more space. So now when white, for example, plays this kind of move, and the situation will go similar, for example, like this, and even if we put exactly the same moves on the board, black has this corner a little bit smaller. It was anyway secured corner because of the wall. So now this secured corner is not that big, and white has more space here to survive. And because of this more space for white, maybe it's possible that it will be less chance for black to get this H2 moves in center. And in case it's not center, maybe white still can do some problems for black in this lower left corner, for example, while playing this kind of moves, because later it might be still possible to try to connect and do some problems there for black. So that because of white having more space here, it might be actually more agi more weaknesses in this lower left corner, even though it looks like it's more enclosed, but it's not, because there is less chance that this h2 move in this case will be a center move for black. So for white it's more interesting to play a little bit further from the wall, and for black maybe also in this position it might be a bit more interesting to still take some profit here in this side, and later, while having, like, for example, this exchange, black can still try to attack maybe a little bit this white's group, or play tenuki now, it's also possible. But here I would also like to show that actually, because black didn't play these exchanges before, it was good, because in case black would play these exchanges, let's say even all of them, then what happens? Black gets a stronger wall, but all the time black has here the stone at L3. So now black has a very big wall and only a free space extension. Now it looks like it's very close. So in this situation, maybe it would be not so interesting for black to play this kind of move. And like it would be quite hard actually for black to find a good extension. But because of not playing there, for black in the future, it might be also possible to play from the other side. Black can at any time decide, okay, I don't want to have a wall here. I would prefer to have their territory on the right side. So, okay, white can enter here towards the center. It doesn't matter. But black might think that this right side is bigger at this point. So it's possible to play there. And now we can also see that after playing this exchange, black starts to be a little bit weaker with this wall, so that overall this weakness which black had here on the start, it's maybe starts to be a little bit more, let's say, interesting for white, but also interesting for black. Because of black having there this like a little bit bigger weakness, it means that this move, it was not so close, it was not so far from the weak group, or not so close to the strong group. Because now, while having here this white's move, black starts to be a little bit weaker with these stones. So in this situation, in this case, maybe it would be actually good to have the stone at this L3 point and not somewhere further on the left, because there would be a bigger gap in this position. So maybe for white it would be later easier to invade there and maybe try to attack. And like this, maybe black would be able still to attack this white stone here in this N3, so that it's still not that easy to play there for white. So maybe at the end, like overall after all these exchanges, it might turn out that actually this L3 move, it is an okay move for black and not really that over concentrated, not that close to the strong group. Okay. Maybe let's move to the other situation, to some other situation. So let's check this shape. What's going on here? Here black has a wall, okay, nice wall, and black is wondering which extension to choose, A or B, which is the better extension for black. So in this case, when we are looking on the situation, many times it's good to play this two space extension, right, from a stone, so maybe something like this. But now to have better balance, also use this wall a little bit better, maybe it's good to play this kind of two space extension. Maybe it's okay. It's also possible to choose another move, quite popular, when there is one stone on the third line, and to have this like balance stone on the fourth line with a free space extension. It's still not that easy to really cut this shape, so maybe it's also interesting for black to play like this. And in many situations it is interesting. Just when we are looking on this shape, when black here had this like interesting wall, for white, where it would be more interesting to fight. Does white want to fight closer to this group from black, or maybe closer to some other shape? Maybe it would be, in my opinion, it would be more interesting to play for white here, in this spot, further from the strongest group on the board. So after this move, when black plays here and later white can play a little bit more aggressively, for example, something like this, and later we get this exchange and this. So suddenly white might have a possibility to survive here on the right side, and then this wall might be not used that efficiently. Of course, black will get another wall, so that it's not the situation that black will be left with nothing. Just for white, it might be a little bit more comfortable to make there this life, and black would not have here this territory. Here, in case black will try to fight like this, here ladder should work well for white, so yeah, black cannot really extend. Yeah, so like this, it's hard to cut for black this way. Of course, it's possible for black to block, so that maybe black can think actually there is a wall, so it's also quite good maybe extension. There is going to be some territory, not very small, a little bit bigger one. But if looking on this situation, actually white takes a huge corner, and white didn't have there any strong group to take this corner with. So actually I feel like it should be quite comfortable for white in this case, this situation. Still, I feel like this one is a little bit over concentrated, and there is still some weakness which could be quite annoying in case black doesn't play anywhere around. Even though black has this wall, still it might be annoying, so I think maybe black should add some move somewhere around to protect this cutting point. Yeah, and like this, maybe black would not get really that much, because yeah, white just got all the corner. So maybe we can think about the other move. So let's say black will play like this. So of course white wants to invade, right? Because yeah, why not? We can just try to destroy black's territory there, so why not invading? Here in this shape it's very difficult for white to invade, because black is already quite close there. So inside this shape, within this shape, black has a strong group basically. So for white to invade here looks very risky, but white might try to find this empty space. So for example, white might try with this move. So white is not that close to this wall as it would be in case black played like this, and now white played here. Now white has this stone closer to black's wall, so it's more difficult to fight for white like this. For example, in case black plays here and later like this, suddenly it might be hard for white to find there any nice continuation to really survive with these stones. But in case white is a little bit further, like when we have a shape like this, it might be already a little bit bigger space. Still it looks risky, but it might be a little bit bigger space for white to try to live there. To have it less risky, maybe it's possible to play in a way so that we maybe can think about sacrificing some part of our stones or of our groups. So for example, instead of this simple extension, maybe white can think about a jump, so that white is a little bit faster, and in case black plays here, white can play, for example, this kind of exchange, so that even if black will cut some part of these stones, it will be still not that big. Here this exchange normally is played so that later when black will want to make white heavy, in case without this exchange like this, when white played here, white probably would be interested in connection, but later it's possible to cut. And when we have a shape like this with this exchange here, and later when white decides to play here, after this move for black, white can play this Atari first and later play from this side, so that white can sacrifice some part of this group, but still get a nice shape on the other part. So now, for example, white can choose to play this Atari, so it's possible to reduce this a little bit more, and black overall will not get that much territory there, and white can get also some nice group outside. So yeah, this is some reason of playing this exchange here on this S line. And in case black trying to really hard very much and for example cut here now, white all the time is able to make this kind of exchange, and later it's possible for white to sacrifice part of this group. For example, now white can think about just playing simple moves like this to give black all this all these stones here below, but white anyway cut black, so white anyway destroyed quite a lot of territory. So it might be still quite interesting for white to play this way. So when white is still quite far away from this black's group, white can think about playing like a little bit lighter way, so that white is not that heavy. It may be possible to play like this, and is going to be, like in my opinion, a playable fight in this opening. So it might be a little bit interesting. Also, in case black would try to play higher, because maybe black can think about playing also this way, so trying to overwhelm white there a little bit more. Like this, white has also a little bit more space to survive in this spot than in case white would have played like this, and now black plays this move. Actually, black doesn't really need to play like this. Maybe black can play even like this. So this stone is a little bit stronger. White will anyway not enter towards the center with this stone. So this stone, while being a bit stronger, maybe will help also while killing white's group. So this is maybe another possibility. But anyway, we can actually notice that white has not that much space here to make there these two eyes, comparing with this situation. So that now, in case black will play like this or like this, white has there a bit more space. So so in case black will play here, maybe white can think about playing like this and later like this. White can hope about making their two eyes. Maybe it will work for him because white had there some more space. Yeah, and maybe let's move to the other situation. So yeah, here we got this shape. Normally in this top right corner, it's possible to play many moves, right? When black has their one move, it's possible to play like this. It's possible to play like this, maybe even higher some moves like this. But it's possible maybe to think about this kind of move, or maybe even further, right? It's possible to think about these other moves. I would like to show a few differences between these kind of moves. Normally, when black decides to play this kind of move, normal shimari in the corner, black is there quite secured. Black has there this territory, this corner. Black's group is not weak, so black can also try to fight later with these stones. Yeah, and it looks a little bit compact style, let's say. But black can also think about playing a bit further. Now, when black has this move, it looks like black gets a bit more territory there, because he does, but there are also a bit more weaknesses, so that maybe in case white will get some stones surrounding this shape, for white it will be easier to enter this corner. Maybe white will be able to invade there. And later we got also some different moves. For example, in case black will play like this. Now, of course, there is a lot of space for white to play somewhere here, but in case white doesn't play there, black still has a nice continuation. Black can play here. This shape looks like normal. Oh, it looks okay. Still, black has a stone here. It's like normal move to enclose the corner. And in case black has a move here, basically it's similar. Black can also play in this spot or in this spot. So later this corner is anyway kind of closed. So it's possible to find this like nice continuation for black. Just there is problem with this stone. This is an annoying move for black to play because it's very hard to find there an interesting continuation. In case white ignores it, how to continue for black? Just playing like this, then there's another move at this n17. It's like, what is this? It's like, okay, taking territory, but really very small. But instead of this move, it was possible to play here. Anyway, this difference in agi is not that big because of black having this extra stone. Black would just have more territory there, in my opinion. So now this shape, it's like very close to each other. All these stones are very, very close. So it doesn't look that much interesting for black. And in case white invades, of course it's possible for white to invade. It might be possible for white to play a move like this, and it should be possible to survive. In case black will play here, white can also play something like this. It should be possible for white to survive in case we have this kind of situation. Might be possible. So this possibility to survive there, it doesn't change that much when this stone is here in this spot, or maybe this spot. All the time it's possible for white to survive there. The difference is that in case black would like to add this extra move, this continuation, so that it will not be possible for white to really invade there, then while having this stone, it's not that interesting to continue, because just playing like this might be not that interesting. And if playing some other shapes, it's also not the optimal shape, and later white can also actually maybe ignore it, but still there is some gap. So at some moment white can try to play something inside, for example like this, and all the time there might be some small problems with black's shape. Even though black will play like this or even further, this shape doesn't look that nice. This is a problem, that this shape, it would be more interesting for black to have this extra move like this shimari or this one, or higher move, for example like this or like this. So now we can also think on a little bit different situation, so that when black has a wall, but a little bit further, when it's really not necessary to add there these moves on the top, maybe like this, or even like this, or like this, when it's still looking like it's maybe too close to the strong group, then black can of course think about these moves a little bit further. So black can think about playing very far away, or like this, like this, like this, or even like this. This move many times is the more interesting one for black, so that there will be no weaknesses in this corner. So in case black will play like this, later for white it might be possible to try to do there some complications. So later, while giving some ponuki for black, normally black will start to be very strong, but yeah, we are looking for a shape when black is already very strong, so that it doesn't matter that much that black is a bit stronger. For white it might be possible to try to survive here in this corner. This is some weakness for for black actually, that white might be able to do this kind of life there. Maybe for black it could be more interesting to play this way. Also, in case white plays like this and black plays here, white can all the time try to do some complications, maybe playing like this, and in case black captures, maybe it's possible to do there something crazy, for example this way, or later playing here and trying to make their two eyes. So there are a little bit more edges. So in case black would like to have this shape, like when black is not that much interested about adding here a move, it might be also possible for black to find this extension in this spot, so that there are still no edge in the corner, because now in this kind of situation, when white would play here, black can just block. And like this, white has not that much space to create really these two eyes after this move possible to play here for black. In case black would like, black can also play from the other side. And all the time it might be not that easy for white to create there these two eyes, because now white plays very close to the strong wall, so later black can anyway play something inside. But in case black is really very strong and here are no white stones around, of course it would be more interesting for black to play much further and anyway try to kill their white. This is another situation, so that in case black is really very strong, it might be also possible just to try to kill. So in case white will play here, maybe black can extend, or still trying to capture maybe the stone and later anyway try to kill. If black is very strong, it might be a possibility for black. So yeah, there are many options where it's possible to play. All the time it's good to focus about this, not playing too strong to the too close to the strong group for black and also for white. So that it would be good if opponent plays close to our strong group. And here we've got another option. Here this situation is very popular recently, invasion in Sansan. And about this situation, I would actually like to tell you about a continuation of this shape, so that for white, this A move, it's not necessarily a good extension, because after this shape, white has more continuations. One continuation for white is to play something like this. Now, what is going on? White is getting a wall, black is getting a territory, and safe group in the corner. It looks normal, right? So, how it should have been, because white had here these three stones, so it looks like white just tries to continue of having a stronger group and a bigger wall. So, in this situation, in case white would have a stone here, later it might be quite interesting for white to continue like this. So, white will have this extra stone there, so this extension would look like very nice for white, and maybe it would be possible to get there some nice territory for white. Just if we are looking on this corner, it might be possible also for white to play a bit different continuation. It's possible to play like this, and after black blocks, it's possible to play here. It's a very popular shape, very popular Joseki recently. It might be possible for black to play like this, like this, like this, and later we get this very famous Joseki recently. So what happened? White got a wall, but on the other side. This wall has switched position. Before white, it looked like white had a wall here, so that this wall influences on this lower side. But after all these exchanges, white turned his wall to work towards the top left, like here on this side. Now here this side is under the influence of this white's wall. So this is a very interesting thing to know actually for white, that white can choose from which side he will prefer to have this wall. So in this position, like this initial position, white all the time has a possibility to switch this wall to the other side, but if white wants, white can also keep this wall how it is. So for example, by having a continuation like this, white will just keep this wall so that it will have influence on this lower part of the board. And this is a very interesting information for us, that white has these two continuations, because it makes also another move for white, which could be, for example, a nice extension like this A move. It looks like it could be very interesting extension for white, but when we think more about this move, when black will ignore, for example, black will play elsewhere. Now, yes, for white all the time it's possible to play like this and getting this wall, so maybe it will work well. But in case white would prefer to play this other move, and like maybe there started to be some like important reason for white to get a wall on the other side because of maybe some important action, maybe some fight going on the top. So white would prefer to play now like this, but after black blocks and we get the same situation how it was earlier, like this, and like this. Now we can actually see that white has here some stone, but this stone doesn't really do anything. The stone is basically just standing there, and it doesn't give really power. It doesn't really attack this black's group, because black has here many center moves connected with this agi here, that maybe there will be some center for black. So it's hard to attack black for white. So this move, it's not really that good direction. If we could put this stone from this one place and put it somewhere here on this side, it would be much more interesting for white, because then the stone would really have nice influence, so that it would be a nice extension from this wall. So many times, if looking in some professional games, it's actually very hard to find this kind of extensions from this wall in the corner. And it's because white has this continuation, so white doesn't want to sacrifice one of these two continuations, because then like this move would be just in not good position. So even though it looks like it could be a nice extension from this white wall, all the time it might be very difficult to see this kind of move. And this is some like interesting thing, so maybe you will also use it in your games, so that it's not that interesting for white to play on the side because of these more continuations. And this is also a very nice thing to know, that it's good to have many possibilities. This is a very important thing. When we have more possibilities, we can always adjust and play this option, which is more interesting for us at this moment when we play it. So that, for example, when we can get a wall or get a territory, and we can choose which one of these two options we get, it's better for us, right? Because maybe we will need to have a wall because there will be some fight, or maybe we will need to have a territory because there will be no fight. So that this territory would be just more interesting in that case. So yeah, this is like a nice thing to think about, that it's good to have many options when we play our games. But let's move to the other situation. This is a situation from a pro game. And here, now it's white's turn. Black played this invasion at e17, and white is thinking maybe about where to play, A or B. So in this position, let's check some situation with A. So after this move, let's say black will play something like this, and here we can exchange this kind of thing. So we get a like Fuseki. And now we can see actually this move works very well with a continuation, right? Because here there is this so interesting move for white to spoil black's shape, so that in case black will play somewhere else, later white might play like this, and in case black connects, later we can see again black has an empty triangle. We had a similar shape in one of the previous videos, and after this shape, actually white can attack black's group. Black has a bad shape, so white can attack. Now white gets a wall. Here white starts to have this area more secured. And for black, what left to do? Just escape. So it might be not that easy to play. And in this kind of situations, actually for black, I think black will almost never play tenuki in this position. Black will answer like this to not have this shape that weak. And after answering this kind of move, black also creates a little bit more weaknesses in white's shape. Because now after this move, in case white will ignore it, maybe black in the future can play something like this. So in case white plays here, black can play something like this. In case white plays here, black can play even something like this. So black will be able to connect and destroy their white's territory on the top. This is some possibility for black. Of course, black might choose some other way of entering that side. For example, black might start, for example, with this move, so that anyway black will be able to leave there, and this is just some extra thing for black to get, so that black has this extra stone here, and might be also possible to do there a little bit more of complications against white. So yeah, this is also another way of playing. But here we can see this like bigger gap between these stones for white. So yeah, there start to be some agi for black to use. And we can also think maybe about playing this B move. What's going on? Will black play from the other side now? I think no, because when white cuts this shape, for example in this spot or in this spot, this looks a little bit more natural. So when white plays in this spot, all the time black will be cut. So in case black will escape with this group, with this stone and this group, later this stone will start to be much weaker. So probably it's not the interesting way for black to play. Like this, for black it is very hard to make a base. So probably black will still play the same Joseki how it was earlier. So let's say we'll make the same shape like this. And what happens now? Now we can see that actually it's more difficult for white to get this move. Because in case black plays tenuki and later white plays like this, it's a little bit further, so that there is a gap, there is a hole in white's shape, so that in case black plays here and later white plays like this, maybe black will be able to play in this spot. Yes, it is possible for black to have this option. It might be also even possible to try to fight a little bit more while playing here. Just in this position, I think white will cut, and because of black having not that many liberties with these 3 stones, it might be not that easy for black to continue. So this might be a little bit risky for black, so probably black will connect. And even though for white it's not that comfortable how it was before, when white had this stone in this spot, then still I think it's quite nice for white to have a group to attack. White just attacks black's group, so white will have some profit later from this attack, maybe some extra wall, maybe more territory. Usually it's better to have some extra walls and stronger groups while attacking groups from opponent. Okay, so still I think white should feel quite comfortable. So in this position, maybe we can also think that black will add a move. So how to find a continuation for black? Maybe anyway playing like this. Yes, it still protects this cutting point a little bit more, so that black gets this shape which is quite wide, so it goes well towards the center. It's a nice group. But now when we are looking on the weaknesses which are created here on the top, they are not that painful. Now the difference is between these 2 moves, this one and this one. So that these 2 moves are a little bit further. So like this, when black has this group which is already a little bit stronger, now these weaknesses start to be quite painful for white. But when this exchange is played this 1 line further to the right, now white starts to be stronger with this shape, so that it starts to be more difficult for black to invade in this shape. So because of this, in my opinion, it would be more interesting for white to play this stone in this spot in this case, because in the future, in the continuation, it will be more difficult for black to invade in this position. Yeah, this is a little bit complicated variation from some pro game, but I think you understand the sense of this difference. So let's move to the another situation. Actually, in this game, we've got also an interesting thing in the lower right corner, this one. Maybe let's check how it happened. So here there was a shape like this, later black played in this spot, and white decided to play here, this move here, somewhere on the second line. It might look like, what it is, it's some crazy move somewhere on the second line, white playing there. Normally we should play on the third and fourth line. But here we've got also a little bit different story. Let's say, in case white will play like this, what black will do? Black would like maybe to kick, and now white will extend, and now black can play something like this to attack these two white stones. But it's normal, no? It looks very normal, like there is this fight, so white is able later to escape and so on. Black still doesn't get that much profit. Just here, black does get profit. The difference is this stone, and it's an important stone in this fight which is going to be here. Because this stone, if it was not there, white might always have a possibility to attack this black stone. In some moment, white might decide to play like this. So this black stone will not have a base, will not have this help somewhere around to fight. And like this, like white might be able to attack this black stone. White even might be able to try to connect. Later this L2, it's some connection. Maybe not very interesting for white, but anyway, it is some connection. So it might be possible to play this way. And even in case white would sacrifice, because white can also think about this option, to sacrifice the two stones. In case white would sacrifice those, then white can also think about getting here some territory. So that sacrifice might be also not that painful for white, because white might be able to get here this profit on the lower left side. So here, this kind of move, which is somewhere there on the third line, it's actually a very big help for black in this fight which is going on in this spot. So that's why it would be interesting for white to try to find some other moves, to look for another moves. So in the actual game, white chose to play like this, and then black wanted to get a wall, so it was this exchange and later this move, yeah, and we've got this shape. So like this, white takes the corner and black gets some kind of a wall. And it's anyway quite normal situation in this lower right corner. Here in this shape, we can actually check some other variations, what is possible to play. So for example, in this lower right corner, when we have this normal keima, like this stone here and this stone here, when it's closer, usually it's a little bit less interesting for white to enter the corner. This corner is not that big. Black is stronger there. So when we compare this situation here with this situation on the top, in the situation on the top, it's much more interesting for white to start playing, for example, something like this. Because one thing, white has more space to live there, and second thing, in case white doesn't play there, black has more territory there. Because if we are looking on this shape, in case black would have played something like this here and something like this here, on this top, black has more. So for white, maybe it would be more interesting to play inside somewhere there. So in case white will play like this, and white will destroy this like corner, or like take, maybe not destroy, but live in this corner, so that black will not have their territory, then it will not be that big for black. So black will not have there anything, and for white it's also easier to live there because of this more space. So normal variation in this top right corner might be something like this, and here like this. This is like one of the options, quite popular variation. So white survives in the corner, even in center, but black has a very strong group. So yeah, this is one of the possibilities. And here, if white wanted to play the same, something like this and like this, and even though this would be center, when white plays here, after connection, black can actually try to kill. So for white cutting, black will just extend. It's not that easy for white to continue. Yes, white might think about trying to play something there on the second line, so black cannot cut because of this one. But in case black plays something like this, white will need to roll on the second line, and black will get anyway a very nice wall. So this might be still quite painful actually for white to get this kind of situation. So this is what white can do. Something else, it might be to play like this, and then we get a ko. There's some other options. So while playing the sansan, then there is a ko in this corner. So this is another possibility for white to play. Just it's not a good possibility, right? Because only a ko might be not that interesting. Maybe it's better to try to find some other moves. So it's possible, for example, to play like how it was in the game. maybe possible to play something like this, and later in case black will play just to block the corner, white can play some move to strengthen the stone a little bit, and then white will just have there some group. Here all the time there are some edge in the corner, maybe it will be possible to reduce it a little bit, and white gets a possibility to escape with these stones. So now if we could, for example, switch this stone with this one, so that white will be here or here, I think it's more interesting for white to be on the second line, because white has more liberties and it's easier to reduce this black's corner. So this one doesn't look that bad actually for white. Another options in this corner, it might be to play like for black actually, something like this, how it was in the actual game. Might be also possible to play something like this. There are like quite complicated situations in that corner. It's some sequence like this. So in this situation it happens that white sacrifices a lot but gets there some wall, so this is another possibility for white to play there. In the other options it might be possible to play something else, for example starting with this move. Usually after this move, when black wants to get a wall, black might think a Shusaku style. This is like very old situation, but still might be really possible to play. And then when white starts to make their life in the corner, black can also try to attack this group. So white will probably escape and then we get some fight. So even though white took away this black's corner, black has no territory there. Black all the time has still some profit on the right side. Probably black will survive there, and black can attack this white's group. Black will control, maybe black will play something like this. So black all the time controls the situation basically. Even though white looks like white cuts black's shape, but it's still normal. So it's possible to play in this kind of shape. Yeah, and here if we are looking on this top right corner, instead of the Sansan, of course it might be possible still to try to play some other moves, maybe just like this, and let's say black will answer there, but this corner starts to be a little bit bigger. White can also think about playing some move like this or here like this. Yeah, there are quite many options to play. Just probably in this lower right corner, black will play from the outside, because white will have there less space to survive. White will survive. This is like possible to survive. Just it's like not that big for black to get there this territory, and this life is also not so big, so black gets also quite nice wall. And in this top right corner, usually black plays from the other side, so that black will get more territory there on the top. And in case black would decide to play something like this, white has also more space to survive there. So yeah, these are the options for these shapes. Here in the actual game, in this shape, we could also think that maybe black could play like this move, but later in case white plays this extension, when black will need to play here, it looks like black tries to attack white, but it doesn't work that well, right? Like in case black will get some wall from this attack, and white will, let's say, answer, then the stone at g3 will be very close to the other stones. So here will be some wall, but this stone is very close to this wall, so it's again not good because this stone is close to the strong group. So for black, it starts to be a little bit more difficult to find a nice continuation. For example, black would probably need to think more on playing somewhere like this in the center, but like this, white gets a way to escape here. So it's not that easy for black to continue. Not that easy for black to find that nice continuation. Okay, thank you for your attention, and see you on the next video.